All right, everybody. So I did a little short letting you guys know kind of what we're doing today. This is a Arctic Frost Satsuma, which is evidently called the Texas Superstar. This thing is hardy down to, they say, 7 to 8 degrees when it's older and mature. Obviously, you can see this thing's in rough shape. So this was we bought this in, I believe, October of 2020. Then came the freeze in 2021. It's probably about that big. Died down last year to here. I actually cut everything off that was dead, and then it came back. Obviously, it didn't like the 10 degrees over our winter time. As you could tell, this is dead. I did the actual scratch test, which if you take your fingernail, you can just scratch the bark. If you see any green underneath, it means it's alive. If you see brown, it means it's dead. This thing, I've already done that. I know that it's dead down to about right here. If you look here, Sebastian, you can actually show everybody that this is actually green still. So this thing is still alive. This is dying. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing like what we do with palms. We actually cut them back if they spear pull, and if they're not able to push up a new spear, you can actually use either a saw, a tree saw, and cut down to where it's alive. Just cut it straight across. And what you'll notice is within just a couple of hours, immediately after you cut it, put on some hydrogen peroxide, which I actually left in the garage. I'll do that after I do my cut. But try to make as clean of a cut as possible. I had this happen a couple of years ago where we had some rabbits eat a Honeycrisp apple tree. So what I did was I got this advice. I took a razor and I basically scored all the way around at the last part that looked actually alive and green, and it popped out a brand new shoot, and that became the central leader. So this thing is not dead. I'm gonna give it a shot before I give up on it. So as I mentioned, I cut everything off. I know that all this stuff is dead, and I'm using actually things here for plumbing and PVC. I'm doing that because these are really, really sharp. And what you'll see is when I cut this back, I already know all this stuff is dead, but I'm doing this so I can show all y'all how dead this thing actually is.
Oh wow.
So yeah, this thing is dead, as you can see. This thing is dead, right? So it's dead to here. So what you do is just set this to the side and keep on cutting. So in this case, I know it's dead down to here. So I'm just gonna start here. And this thing, man, this thing can cut PVC. It can cut through dead wood. So as you can see, my investigation and the scratch test was right. This thing is dead, down to here. So now I'm gonna start paying a little more attention. As you can see, again, don't give up on your trees. If you see that they have any bit of green, the interesting thing is now what will make a difference here as to what you do. Go and look up what's called a graft. So oftentimes they'll take a rootstock for a fruit tree and then they'll graft on. Basically, they'll cut a hole in the side and put the actual fruit tree that you want to buy into the graft, and then it'll grow off that rootstock. So then now your actual tree is taking its genetics, at least part of its genetics, from the rootstock. If you cut below the graft line, you will get the actual genetics of the graft or of the rootstock, which is not what you want. You want all the genetics of your tree above the rootstock. Arctic Frost is not grafted. So that means that I can cut anywhere here, and this is all the same Arctic Frost, all the genetics that I want. So I'm gonna identify where I see green, and I see green somewhere about here. So I'm just gonna go straight across. And actually, I'm gonna turn a little bit to find the best spot to cut this thing. Toss my dead stuff. And I'm just gonna go a little bit under where I see the green. So call it right there. And it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, what you wanna do is cut. And this thing, I can already feel it's not dead, it isn't brown.
It looks soft.
It does. It's definitely softer. And this PVC thing is actually great. So I should see some green if I did the right thing here. So this is alive, albeit half alive. So what I'm gonna do is,
there's green here.
Yep, there's green all over the place.
But this is like yellowish.
So what I'm gonna do is,
it's weird.
Let's see. So that may be an indication that this thing is dying on this side as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some peroxide. I'm gonna put some peroxide on top here, and we're gonna let this thing grow, and we're gonna come back in a couple days. And if this is anything like my palms, this thing is going to shoot up within a couple of hours and push out a new central leader. So come back. I will update on this thing. Hold on. Keep it paused.
Oh.
So here you have it cut. I'm going to go get peroxide, and we're going to do an update here in a couple of days once this thing either lives or does not live, and it'll get all dug up and replaced. So like and subscribe, come back, watch this thing grow, and if I did the right thing, we should see a new central leader coming out of this thing. Thanks, everybody.